Okay, everybody, very special guest on Chump Talk today. Today we have a Canadian country music superstar. He's a two-time Juno Award winner. He's an 18-time CCMA Award winner. He has 15 top 10 radio singles, and he is one of the biggest Edmonton Oilers fans on the planet. Brett Kissel, thank you so much for joining Chump Talk today.
Oh, boys, it's my pleasure. Any chance that I get to talk about hockey and sports and country music all in the same conversation,
Boom.
you got a happy guy right here.
Let's go.
Love to hear it. Yeah, as Brady said, Brett, thanks for coming on today. First question here, where are you now? We know you split time between Nashville and Alberta there, but where are you now and just kind of what are you up to right now?
Yeah, no, I'm in Alberta right now, and I'm chilling in my home office. We actually put our house up for sale here, and I think we're going to upgrade, hopefully, to a nice acreage just outside of Edmonton.
Nice.
You know, my family and I, we've got a great farm 2 hours outside of Edmonton that we spend a lot of time on with my grandparents. So over the course of the pandemic, it's been so great to be out with them and spend time with my grandparents and go chase cows and climb trees, shoot deer, catch fish. Like, it's literally, I've written a lot of songs out there, and Luke Bryan's hunting, fishing, loving every day.
Yeah.
That's what I've done all seasons over the last 18 months. So it's been really good.
Okay, I got to start off with a question like this. You got to put yourself in a hockey fan's perspective here.
Yeah.
Say you're in a first-round playoff series. Would you rather not win one game, or would you rather be up 3-1 in a series and lose in 7 to a team you were heavily favored against?
I'd rather be up 3-1.
I don't know.
It hurts.
Well, hey, I cannot believe that the Oilers and the Leafs did not play each other in the Battle of the North.
Believe it.
Like, it's unbelievable what's gone on in the playoffs this year. It's actually crazy what goes on in the Stanley Cup playoffs all the time.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show that, like, sometimes winning the Presidents or you know, having this banner season, a lot of guys that have won cups or have gone far in the playoffs that you've probably spoken to or I've met in the past, they actually don't give a shit about the regular season. Yeah. They really don't. Sometimes they're saving energy because all that really matters is the playoffs. So I hate getting swept. The Oilers getting swept is something that hurts my heart to this day. And I'm going to be 65 years old one day, and I'm still going to think about the 2021 playoffs and getting swept by the Jets.
Yeah, but man, we're going to be 65 one day, and we're going to be like, oh, remember how confident we were after Game 4 when the Leafs just easily, like, I think it was 4-0 in Game 4 for the Leafs. We're huge Leaf fans, by the way, and just so confident. Okay, we just got to win one more. And I remember, so there's these two kids, young kids at work. They're always asking me, hey, can we come over for a beer and watch the Leaf game? I'm like, and after Game 3, I told them, if the Leafs and Habs go to Game 7, then you guys can come to my place and watch Game 7. And I never thinking there'd be a chance. Of course, they come, and one's wearing a Habs jersey, and it was just one of the worst nights of my life, Game 7.
Yeah. What like, I feel for you. I feel for everybody because Toronto is the center of the universe.
Absolutely.
And it, like it or not, it just is.
Yeah.
And the Toronto Maple Leafs are God's gift to sports, according to all Leafs fans, the city of Toronto and everybody in Ontario. And you know what? I get it. It's an incredible franchise. But not winning a cup since 1967 and having such an incredible year like you had this year. And also, for what it's worth, everybody was making fun of the North Division. I loved the North Division. I really did. Absolutely. But, I mean, Toronto kind of ran away with it. Like, they were tested by many teams. They beat, you know, the Oilers in that series, you know, 3 in a row in late Feb or early March or whenever it was. And then everybody was thinking that they're going to be truly not just in the top 4, but they could go all the way. And this could be the year that Toronto finally wins the Stanley Cup. I thought the same way about Edmonton, but however I thought, everyone in Toronto and in the province of Ontario was thinking, this is the Leafs year. And then you lose to the Habs?
Oh, yeah.
You're never going to live this down.
No, never.
The epic fails against Boston over the you haven't been able to live.
You just had to bring that up.
Yeah. What, 1979 against the Habs?
Yeah.
And you can't be. What happened? Like,
I don't know.
the Leafs.
I honestly I'm wondering, Poolsy, why we even brought Brett on today, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm not even rubbing it in. I'm just speaking the truth. Let's dive into this. Every analyst in the history of analysts has tried to figure out, but you guys eat, sleep, and breathe hockey. You've got a podcast about it. What went wrong? Did they stop trying? Was Carey Price that good? Or did the Leafs just shit the bed that bad? What was it?
I'm gonna go with Leaf shit the bed that bad.
Yeah,
I think
that's what I'm going with too.
Obviously, and there's Leaf fans, and this is actually an argument Matt and I got into after the series. I'm like the most positive Leaf fan there is. Like after all these fails that you just had to bring up, I'm the guy that's like, okay, Leafs will be back next year. They just need to add a few pieces, whatever. I loved their offseason moves.
I thought it was going to be a different year.
Obviously, Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews, just 3 points for each of them. I think Marner had 2 points in 7 games. That's not good enough. I mean, would you do you think McDavid and Drat were to blame for the Edmonton sweep?
You know what? What's interesting about those games, as the very, very positive Oilers fan, so I align with you, Brady.
Yeah.
With losing so many games in overtime, we had a chance to win. I mean, it was maybe as simple as, you can't blame Mike Smith.
No.
Mike Smith was incredible. Connor Hellebuck, did he steal the games? Yeah, absolutely. Every game that the Jets won was Connor Hellebuck. Mark Scheifele was a beauty. The Stars, did they play better than our Stars? Well, yeah, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. But that series easily could have gone the other way. The difference, though, in the Montreal and Toronto series is that all of these great moves and the veteran presence of the captain, who of course got hurt at the beginning of the series.
Yeah.
But you got Jumbo Joe, who's been to the Cup final. You've got Wayne Simmons, who added grit. You've got all of these names. And you've got a guy like Jack Campbell, who was riding a hot streak, such a hot streak that he kicked Freddie Anderson out of the number 1 spot. Yeah. Granted, Anderson was hurt, but the coach is not going to make a move to get Campbell out of there. You've got a guy in Muzzin won 2, or did he win 3? Yeah, he won his 2 cups with LA, right?
2 cups, yeah.
So, I mean, you've got veteran presence who know what it takes to win, who could take guys like Marners and Matthews under the shoulders, who are the studs in the room, but say, okay, guys, we know what it takes to win.
Mm-hmm.
Yet, I don't know what kind of – you've got this veteran presence in Shea Weber, who's been to the Cup final. You've got a gold medal winner in Carey Price, but he's not really proven himself in the playoffs up until this season. Yeah. And the only guy I think who's ever won a Cup on the Habs is Corey Perry.
Yeah.
No, Eric Stahl.
Edmondson too.
Yeah.
Edmondson won. So, okay, but these are old timers, right?
Yeah.
The old guys, but they're telling guys like Caulfield and Suzuki and they're just, no, never mind, Toffoli won Cups. So maybe that veteran presence was just better than the veteran presence on the Leafs. That not really counting or giving credit to. But I'm fascinated by what the Montreal Canadiens have done. And every Habs fan is like, oh, we knew it all along. And I'm like, bullshit, you knew it all along.
Yeah.
You were just – you're rolling with the punches. This is like the 06 Oilers, who there was no way the 06 Oilers were going to beat the Red Wings, the President's Trophy Red Wings. Yet they did. There's no way they're going to beat the San Jose Sharks with the Rocket Richard, Jonathan Chichu, and Marlowe, and Couture, and Setaguchi, and all these guys in Thornton. Yet they did. And then they steamrolled the Ducks. And then, the hotter team was the Canes. So I still hate the Hurricanes. I'm glad they're out. Screw them.
I just find it extremely fascinating that out of all these players that are making $10 million plus, Carey Price is the only player to ever win a series making over that money. And when you look at the Leafs roster and they have 3 guys making 10 million plus, that kind of makes it hard to hope for good things in the future. But let's say you're the Oilers GM this offseason. What things are you prioritizing the most?
It's a very difficult situation to be in because I don't know kind of the inner workings and I don't know the chess, because it's not about what's right now. It's also about the future and what this is going to lead to. You look at getting rid of Taylor Hall for Adam Larson years ago. Peter Chiarelli did it. I still think it's a bad trade. Now, love or hate Taylor Hall. And, but I've always enjoyed, I think he's a great guy. And I've always enjoyed the way that he played for the Oilers. And Adam Larson is a great addition and a shutdown defenseman, but it wasn't an equal trade, one for one.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Eberle, for whoever they traded him for, to whatever team they traded him to, like, that was just a bad trade. And look at Edmonton, how well he's playing in New York. Bad trade. So I don't want to make those bad trades. That's the risk that every GM has. But I think that we need a couple of very, very important pieces. We need some veteran leadership. And Connor McDavid is an extraordinary captain, the best athlete in the world. However, I think if he had a guy like Joe Thornton or a guy like Patrick Marleau, or earlier on, I was disappointed that the Oilers didn't go after Jarome Iginla in his final years, who was an Edmonton guy, who was an incredible captain and gold medal winner. He's been to the Cup final and just a class act. And he's, obviously surefire. Like, he's just one of the best guys in the NHL. Why they couldn't bring that veteran leadership. So I'm wondering if we can bring a Stanley Cup winner to the Oilers organization, even if it's for just the season, to get these guys thinking differently as we go into the playoffs next year. I'm also thinking defense. We need some incredible D guys. Darnell Nurse has showed that he is a stud defenseman. But you know what? We need more than just one. We need more.
Absolutely.
And we can't wait. We can't wait. It's now or never. Period. Yeah. It's now or never. And just more offensive talent. I think we're going to lose Nuge to Seattle probably, or to any other team because he's a UFA and stuff like that. So we need that Tyler Toffoli, the perfect guy. He's won 2 cups and he's a stud. We need that Justin Williams kind of guy. And when Justin Williams was still great, we need Corey Perry. Corey Perry is just a dick to play against.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, we need somebody like that.
For sure.
And why not? Like,
absolutely.
It's some of those pieces to really round off our team, because Draisaitl and McDavid can get the job done, but then they proved that we ran into some bad luck.
Yeah.
We ran into some bad luck. So we need something there.
So I guess all Oilers fans and Leafs fans can just hold their hats on is sometimes tough times don't last, but tough people do, right?
Exactly. As a great singer once said.
Yeah.
Don't last, tough people do.
Okay, so there's lots of people listening to this pod right now and like, why haven't you talked about country music at all? And we only tuned into Chump Talk for the first time to listen to some country music talk, and we are going to get to that. But I want to ask one more, or maybe Poolsy, you have one after Edmonton Oilers question. So you mentioned you're a very positive Oilers fan. Does it make it hard to be negative, because I know you have a close relationship with some of the guys on the team. I know you were close with Eberle before he moved on, still close with him. And you and McDavid have had times where you've hung out. Does it make it hard to be negative because you do have that close relationship with some guys on the team?
Well, I think the reason why it isn't, because I feel for the guys. I feel for the organization, and I maybe come at it from a bit of a different perspective. I mean, when the guys would win, they would celebrate and cheer and be more excited than 19,000 people at Rogers Place. When the guys would lose and Rogers Place is upset and they're throwing, jerseys on the ice and we're done. However disappointed that a fan may have been, that doesn't even come to 10% as disappointed as a guy is. Like, I mean, it's difficult, because I used to be that fan who, in my teens would just get upset, and I'd be a fair weather fan. I really kind of was. Yeah. But now I kind of understand the ins and the outs, and nobody wants to win as much as Ken Holland or Bob Nicholson or Dave Tippett or anybody on the roster. So I can't judge. I can't say, oh, you know what? Well, we should have got more pucks on net. And, look at some of these overtime goals that the Jets scored. We should have got more pucks on net. Man, I'm not even a good country singer, but I'm a country singer. What right do I have to say this is what needs to happen? But I like asking the questions in terms of like these conversations on podcasts or whatever, to ask you guys who actually know more about the sport than I do, just to kind of like get some opinions and just see, okay, what happened? Let's talk about it. But I can't really judge. Yeah. So it's not negative at all, because I just try not to judge the guys. They're elite athletes, extraordinary human beings, and it's 1 in 10 million to make it to the NHL, and these guys do it. So I can't judge him.
We got to ask about your relationship with Connor Mcdavid. You guys were spotted in Italy together having dinner a little while back. Also, you guys were on Ron McLean's show together. Just talk a little bit about your relationship with Connor McDavid.
Davo's awesome. It's just he's such a great guy. He's an extraordinary athlete, and even though he's quiet, to the media, and he's all business, I think in these press conferences, he's just such a nice guy. He's so kind to me and CC. We've been over at his house in Edmonton for dinner, and also Lauren, his girlfriend, she's awesome. She's so talented. Her, her architecture and interior design firm is really like it's going gangbusters right now across Canada. And I don't know. I feel for him when a lot of people in media, I don't know, just don't see athletes as real people. And Connor's as salt of the earth, as kind, as Canadian as you're ever going to get. Yeah. Like a lot of other athletes that we've probably all met or seen on tabloids or whatever, like Conor McGregor, larger than life personality. Never met him, but I've heard stories. Yeah. LeBron James, larger than life personality. Never met him, but I've heard stories. Yeah. Connor McDavid is, to me, I think the greatest athlete in the world. Greatest athlete. He's dominating his sport more than other guys are dominating their sport, especially this season. Yeah. And he doesn't roll like that. Yeah. I know he likes to go out and golf in the summer, ride his boat with his buddies in the summer on the lake, and crank good music, listening to some country music from time to time. Drinks beer, drinks vodka, likes to drink red wine, goes for nice dinners. Yeah. And, wins awards. Like, that's it. That's it. Yeah. Are there any more stories about Connor McDavid? No, he's just a beauty. Like, he would have a conversation. If he got to know the two of you guys the way that I'm getting to know you guys, you had a beer with him up in Lake Country in Ontario, like, he's just an awesome guy. End of story.
All right, perfect. We'll have our people talk to his people, and we'll make that happen. But talk about, so you guys met up in Italy. Tell us a little bit about that story, how that all happened. Was it Italy? Do I have that right?
Yeah, it was in Rome. It was super random. Cecilia and I, we were there for a wedding, and my producer was getting married. So we stayed 3 or 4 days after, and he had just won the World Cup in Moscow, or maybe the Czech Republic or something like that. Yeah. And I mean, that's it. I mean, I had no idea if they were sticking around, if they went back to Canada. I had no idea until CC and Lauren talked on Instagram that they're like, "Are you in Italy?" And CC's like, "Yeah." "Are you in Italy?" She's like, "Yeah." Because often what celebrities will do is they don't post in real time.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, if I posted about my dad's birthday at a dinner at such and such restaurant, I'll post it 3 days later. Right. Because people will come out and see. And during special moments, I don't ever mind being bothered, but I don't want to be bothered on the days there are special moments. So when they posted that they were in Italy, in Rome, I didn't know if it was for real or if it was like memories of Rome.
Yeah.
But it turns out their hotel was like 3 blocks away from our hotel. And like, "What are you guys doing for dinner?" And they're like, "Nothing. There's this great spot we wanted to try called blah, blah, blah." I still don't remember. Can't pronounce it. Yeah. So we went for dinner and drinks. We spent the entire night together. And so when we ended up posting that we were there together, it was pretty fun that 2 Canadians, both from Edmonton, are a block away from each other in separate hotels in Italy for 2 different reasons. So it was pretty fun to connect.
And it's probably pretty sweet because if you did that in Edmonton, then obviously people would recognize McDavid, or people would recognize you and come up all the time. But Italy, I'm assuming that didn't happen near as much.
No, not at all.
That's
not
awesome.
at all. And it was just really nice to visit with them again, not in Canada, because Connor is so, like, he's so famous. And in certain circles that I may go into, I mean, if you're a country music fan, you may recognize me, and it's really fun. I don't take that stuff for granted. I'm really grateful for that, because it means I've, gotten to a level in my career. But it was so nice to just have an uninterrupted bunch of hours just chilling with them. And it really, I think, solidified our friendship. And I can't wait to see them in Ontario when I get there next.
Unreal. Brett, we're going to take it right back to the start here. How did you get into country music? Just kind of take us through that story when you were a young kid. How'd you get into the guitar and all that? And just talk about that.
It's so identical to anybody who gets into hockey. It was all I've ever wanted to do. So from an early age, a dad gives, his kid a hockey stick. And then, they eat, sleep, and breathe hockey. All winter long, they're taking shots and they're on the ODR. And that's all they want to do. Identical for me. My Meemaw got me a guitar when I was 6. All I ever wanted to do was play. Play. I just wouldn't stop playing guitar and singing to old country, like Johnny Cash and Marty Robbins and Farron Young. And I would yodel and stuff like that. And I'd just be on the farm and all I would do is sing. I'd be driving on the quad or riding on a tractor with my grandpa. And all I would do is sing. So when my parents are like, there's a school talent show, why don't you enter? So I did. I sang, and then there's a little competition a local competition during the rodeo when I was 10, and I entered and I would sing, and one thing led to another, and there was never a time from the time I was 5 years old that I wasn't singing or playing guitar. So I've never done anything else. Literally, I've never had another job. It's all I've ever wanted.
How cool was it in those early teenagers or even in your 20s when you could just go to a party, or maybe even like I know you kind of broke out a lot younger than a lot of other artists do, but if you're going to a party before, you kind of had stuff out there, but you could just bring your guitar and just break it out at other points. How cool is it to be? Because I know I've always been jealous of that guy that can just bring out the guitar, and you just instantly see all the girls just who's that guy? That's got to be a pretty cool feeling.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely fun, but I'll put it in perspective for you. I'm from a small town, so pretty much everybody's related. So even if I brought out the guitar, and the girls that were usually the most attractive happen to be my cousins, and it's like, yeah, that doesn't fly. I mean, you think it would in Redneck, Alberta, but we ain't that hillbilly. You know what I mean? But it wasn't until I was like 17, 18, and I started living in Edmonton. Once I graduated from high school, then it was really cool. My wife and I, we were dating at the time. We were just boyfriend, girlfriend, but I loved learning new songs, and, I would bring my guitar around a lot because it was just a lot of fun. And I loved trying out new songs that I wrote on my friends and Cecilia and all of her girlfriends. So that was really cool because you could find out really quick what songs, maybe they wouldn't tell you a song was good, but you always knew when a song was bad because they would just talk through it. Yeah. Or that's when they would get up from the campfire and go mix drinks. Yeah. Like, yeah, the sucks. But if everybody would engage, and then you'd go to the campfire the next weekend and be like, hey, what was that song? Like 3, 2, 1. And like, yeah, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, play that one.
Yeah.
So where was that song? Like, flicking that match on the gasoline. It all started with a song. Yeah, started with a song. Yeah, okay, yeah, play that one.
Yeah, I like that one.
You knew which ones would kind of be good,
Sweet.
Looking back at your early teenage years and the mindset you would have had then, did you ever think you would be where you are at now in your life?
It's weird to say this because as a Canadian, you don't want to say it because you'll sound conceited and you'll sound like you're bragging. Did I think I'd be exactly where I'm at today? Well, no, because I could never predict the future. Mm-hmm. Did I want to be? Absolutely. Did I plan and write it on my goal list and just look at it in the mirror every single day with my list of goals? Like, you will play the Big Valley Jamboree one day. You will play Boots and Hearts one day.
Yeah.
Well, then when you accomplish it, it's a true sense of accomplishment as opposed to, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here. Those moments are like, oh my God, I won American Idol. I would have never thought about this because I was working construction this time 6 months ago, and now I'm the biggest star in the world. That is an oh my God moment. And those are amazing moments for those artists who never thought that they would actually get there. Yeah. Did I ever think I'd win a CCMA? No, that you can never predict that. Did I perform on the Canadian Country Music Awards? On my goal list? Absolutely. Did I want to play on the Grand Ole Opry? Absolutely. Did I want to work my ass off to get a record deal and make it to what I thought was like my NHL? Absolutely. And hard work pays off. Same thing in hockey. If you keep putting the puck in the net, you've got a great attitude, you have great coaches, you just sacrifice, you're committed to the game and you work hard, if you're 5'6" like Martin St. Louis, you can make it. If you're 6'2" and you're a stud like Connor McDavid, of course, you can make it.
Yeah.
If you're Jordan Tutu and you have the cards stacked against you and a difficult upbringing, and you're part of a minority group and no one thinks you can make it, but you make it to the NHL and you're just this incredible athlete and this incredible human being that everybody looks up to in a bunch of different, circles.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey, that's amazing. Anyone can make it with the right attitude and skill set, and if you keep nurturing your talent. So for me in country music, I always wanted to. I never knew where I would be, but I always felt that I would at least attain some level of success. And I'm very grateful every single day that I'm here and still able to do it.
What's a comparable cliche for musicians in hockey? Like in hockey, you'll hear intermission. Yeah, you know what, guys, we just got to get the puck off the glass. We got to get pucks deep, shots on net, and you know what, we'll get this job done. For you, is it like, just got to work at it, strum that guitar, hit a couple notes, and we'll get there? Is that what's a comparable?
That's a great question. I've never been asked that.
Love it.
One that rings true, yet it's been used a million times by my managers. Hit songs make hit artists.
Boom.
So, and there are, just look over the pandemic, all these artists that kind of, to us, came out of nowhere. Like JP Sax, if the world was ending, you'd come over,
yeah.
right? Like, I don't know. I hadn't heard of JP Sax before. He just won like 10 Junos this year.
Yeah.
Yet he got this incredible song, and he's a massive star right now. A lot of artists truly come out of nowhere. So a hit song can make a hit artist.
Okay, I like that.
That's a good cliche.
Right.
But it's been overused now by my manager. I don't think we can have a conversation where he doesn't say it twice.
Yeah. He's like, shut up, man.
Well, he's been my manager 10 years. And I'm like, Louis, I know. He's like, you've proven this. We've proven this. And then sometimes, I might be down in the dumps about like, okay, what's next? What do I got to do? He's like, Brett, a hit song makes a hit artist. I'm like,
boom.
Louis, I know.
Yeah. Pucks off the glass. Pucks off the glass.
Yeah, pucks them deep.
You mentioned the Junos. You were nominated for a Juno this year, Single of the Year. The Weeknd ended up winning it with Blinding Lights. I assume that you had an acceptance speech ready for that one because you were just against the Weeknd, some guy named Justin Bieber, Lennon Stella. I'm assuming you had an acceptance speech ready. So I'm wondering, since you didn't win it, could you give us that speech on here?
I did not have an acceptance speech ready. I knew without a shadow of a doubt I would not win that award. It's got to go to the Weeknd.
Yeah.
I'm so happy because in a lot of award shows that you watch on television, that can be a little bit like you raise your eyebrows and you're like, how did this artist win Album of the Year how did the Weeknd be shut out from the Grammys?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the most streamed album in the history of streaming, and he doesn't get nominated for a Grammy. So it made perfect sense that he was going to get nominated and win at the Junos. Yeah. So can I give you that acceptance speech? No. Anything that I've ever wanted in my life has always been off the cuff. I've never planned it. Nothing actually irks me more at an award show than when somebody goes up there, oh my God, this is amazing. I had no idea. Oh. And then they bring out I want to thank my manager, my management company, my record label, country radio. I'm like, why do you have this list if you weren't expecting it? Like,
yeah, if you had no idea.
And you've got 30 seconds. Just speak from the heart. Don't speak from a pad at the Delta Hotel that you just wrote at the hotel 5 minutes ago.
Love it. Go ahead, Poolsy.
No, we got to ask about an absolute banger that you released back in, I think it was 2012 or 2013. Hockey, Please Come Back during that NHL lockout. Got to hear the story behind that, and like the music video is sweet too. All the Oilers jerseys everywhere, and just what's the story behind that song? Because I just love the lyrics of that one.
I don't get an opportunity to talk about that song very often, but it was inspired by my wife actually, because during the lockout, I was going through my PVR and looking at everything that she had saved.
Desperate Housewives.
Desperate Housewives, Real Housewives of Vancouver, Real Housewives Beverly Hills, New York, New Jersey, LA, Atlanta, Texas. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, why am I? And I would just, either sit on my phone or strum guitar, and I would watch The Real Housewives. And I'm like, why am I doing this? If hockey was here, I wouldn't have to do this shit.
Yeah.
So Cecilia, lovingly called me out, and she's like, well, if you claim to be a songwriter, why don't you write a song about it? So I did. And I wrote it from the perspective of all the fans and talking not to like Gary Bettman or the National Hockey League. He was like to hockey, as if hockey is my friend. Like, hockey, can you please come back into my life? So writing that in my early 20s, like it went viral as it could, in like 2012 or whatever. Yeah. Much different versions of viral now. But Mark Spector from Sportsnet was in it, and Rogers or Rexall Place allowed me to film in the empty Rexall Place.
Yeah.
It was really cool. I'm really grateful that little video that cost me like $1,000, was that much fun.
That's got to be up there in one of your most proud songs.
Well, it's cool that like 10 years later, people are still talking about it, right?
Yeah.
Something that I wrote in 20 minutes at my little house in Sherwood Park when I was just broke, like flat broke.
Yeah.
Still is a song that people are like, hey, it's like you, Poolsy, like, it was an absolute banger. I'm like, thanks.
Do you still have it all memorized too?
Probably. I've got a good memory. Yeah, I usually don't forget lyrics, so
that's awesome. Okay, we're kind of jumping all over, but one thing I've read about doing the research is you were married at 19. So I got married at 22, and a lot of my friends, I was playing junior hockey the year before, and I remember telling some of the guys, they're like, "What are you thinking, man? What are you thinking?" I know that's at 22. So I'm assuming at 19 you got a little bit of backlash from maybe friends or family. Is there any stories from that or anything you can talk on that point?
Well, I love talking about this, and I never I don't get a chance to talk about that early stage. So like, I got to tip my hat to you, because guys like you and me would definitely go through a lot of those questions and a lot of concerns, because people think that we don't have the maturity to handle the responsibility of a relationship or a forever commitment. Right. But when you know, and I wanted to grow with Cecilia. So when I asked her to marry me at 19 years old, and we ended up getting married at 21. So we were just right before you.
Okay.
And we had a longer engagement, but I was so happy that I did that. And now 10 years later, we've been married now for 10 years, or will be in July. I just think to myself, it was the right choice. And I didn't want the life of maybe losing out on what I knew was a forever relationship.
Yeah. To
truly just have other relationships, or what a lot of my buddies were doing, which again I'm not saying is a bad thing, because so many people go through it. It just wasn't for me. Yeah. But everybody else, to just like, you have fun in your 20s, you get laid in your 20s, you just go wild in your 20s.
Yeah.
Then you find the girl that you love or the partnership that you want, and you settle down in your late 20s, early 30s, and you follow that system. That works. That's a great system.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, but it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
I found the girl that I loved with all my heart, with absolutely everything. I didn't want to do anything else other than spend time with her, build a life with her, have kids with her, build a life. So when you find that, I told my mom and my dad, and especially my mom, who was like against it. I'm like, I'm literally telling you, this is exactly what I want for the rest of my life. And just because I'm 19, you think that it's not going to work? Like, that's a very hypocritical, false belief system. So some people are ready at 19, or like you at 22.
Yeah.
And some people aren't ready at 42. And you and I can predict that. We can look at that guy who's 42 and be like, he's still not ready.
Yeah.
So to each their own. Don't judge me. Don't judge you,
Absolutely. So Jill and I, my wife's name is Jill. We just had our 2-year last week. So even though you don't know me at all, could you maybe just tell her right now she made the right decision?
Well, absolutely. If that's if she said yes to your proposal.
Yeah, she did.
And said yes at the altar, then she's following her heart and her truest desire, which is she is going to marry you, and you are hers, and she is yours. And that's the way that it is. So you both made a great decision, and marriage is the best thing you'll ever do. I'm so proud of our relationship, and I'm sure you guys are extremely proud of your relationship, and it only gets better with time, man. So good for you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, you got lucky there, Gerbs. But Brett, you made several appearances on Sportsnet there. Just talk about that, what it's like to go on national TV there, and just chat some hockey with all the viewers across Canada watching that, being a country music star.
I get chirped more on Twitter when I attempt to be an analyst, which I'm not even attempting, but when I talk hockey with Jeff Merrick or with Ron McLean or Don Cherry or any of these guys, David Amber, Elliot Friedman, the list goes on. And I've loved speaking with these guys. Jay Onright, Dan O'Toole are amazing hosts.
Yeah.
And they're such great television personalities. So I'm honored that I just get to spend time with them because I'm a fan too. So whenever I've been in that position to talk hockey, I just say what I think. And I always get razzed for it. Like, get this guy off the air. Who does he think he is? Or shut up and sing. Like, I'm not claiming to be an analyst.
You just love it, and you get that
sports
platform.
Journalism, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, but it's always fun.
Oh, that's awesome. We really are bouncing all over the place. But when we found out that we were going to get this interview, I started writing some stuff down. And one thing I wrote was, would you ever collab with somebody in a hip hop type song? And that was about 2 weeks ago. I wrote that down. I saw on your Instagram, Nelly featured in one of your songs, and that's out now. I have it on my phone. It's a banger. I love it. So I thought it was pretty funny that I wrote that down. Talk about that story. I have heard the story, but for our listeners, talk about how that all happened and how you got Nelly involved in a song, because Nelly is a rock star.
Yeah, like he's a living legend in our business in terms of hip hop. He's an incredible actor and philanthropist. I didn't even realize, like, he's a part owner of the Charlotte Hornets.
Really?
Like, a guy owns an NBA franchise. Like, like this is the real deal. Entrepreneur.
He's doing okay.
Yeah, like entrepreneur, artist. I look up to him in a lot of ways. And, you know, when you're writing a song, you always think about what the song can be. So I wrote She Drives Me Crazy after a bachelor party in Vegas with my best friend, Austin. And so literally a couple days after, I kind of recovered a little bit, wrote this song with two of my songwriting friends, Emma Lee and Karen Kozowski, both Canadians. And we're like, this song is so pop leaning for country, that the only way we can actually make this even cooler than it already is if we get a great collab. And we always said Nelly, but Nelly is unattainable because Nelly is Nelly. But that's the first lesson, boys, is just when you think unattainable, that's when that's actually what your dream should be.
Nice.
Just when you think like, nah, there's no way I can make $1 million. Well, you're an idiot. Because you said you can't, you never will. So put it in your goal list, your journal, that you're going to make $1 million with this podcast. And then once you do, your next goal is going to be 10 million. So for me, I thought there's no way I can get Nelly, but immediately within that same thought process thought, you never know. Like, you never freaking know what can happen. No sooner did we write this song and record it, did I randomly meet up with Nelly. I'm talking a few weeks later.
Yeah.
Randomly. This as random as meeting up with Connor and Lauren in Rome. I'm walking into the Thompson Hotel with my agent and my manager.
That's Nashville, right?
In Nashville.
Yeah.
After the IEBA conference, the IEBA International Entertainment Buyers Association. I was just a guest of Jim, my agent, who was up for an award and won an award. So we're dressed to the nines. It's a wonderful celebration. Now we're going back into the Thompson for drinks where Jim was staying. And who rolls up in a black Escalade? Nelly. Now I knew Nelly was in town because Nelly was writing and recording with my producer, Jacob Durrett. So I knew he was in town, but like, I'm not going to bug Jacob like, yo, tell Nelly to feature on the song, because you don't ever want to tell people what to do or be that guy. But as Nelly got out of the vehicle, literally as I'm walking into the hotel, I said, hey, and we'd met a couple times, and I said, hey, how you doing? How's everything going? I said, hey, I heard you were writing with Jacob. How did it go? He's like, oh man, I gotta play these songs. They're sick. He's like, I'm just checking in. What are you doing later? I'm like, I don't know. What are you doing later? Like, well, let's go for a song. I'm like, awesome. And luckily, Jacob had played him a couple of the songs that he had just worked on with me. Yeah. So there was that connection, that reference. So we go for dinner. Then we have drinks. And then I said, did Jacob play you this song? He said, no, he didn't. I said, okay, it's called She Drives Me Crazy. It's a banger. You should hear it. So I played it for him. And he's like, this needs a hip hop collab. And I said, this song needs Nelly. And he's like, I don't know if you can afford me, bro, or something. And I'm like, well, maybe I can. And so his manager and my manager spoke. And when you have collabs like that, you need to share in the revenue, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes guys just aren't going to do it for free.
Right.
But sometimes they're more inexpensive than you think, or sometimes they're way more expensive than you think. You know? Like Old Town Road, it wasn't that Lil Nas X just called Billy Ray out of the blue, I don't think.
Yeah.
But Billy Ray was paid a fee, and then the song exploded for country radio too.
Right.
So with this particular example, we organized the paperwork within a week. Nelly did his track within a week, and we had the song done. Like,
yeah, that's interesting.
Wow.
I had no idea that's even how the process would go. Like, and that's hilarious. Nelly kind of big timing you a little bit. Yeah, like, bro, come on.
Now, and I don't take offense to that.
Yeah.
I think in it more of a, more of a joke. You know?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like maybe I could. Maybe it's gonna be like $5 million. I'll be like, yeah,
you're right.
And I live on a farm. You're right.
Yeah.
I can't. But this situation and the deal was reasonable. Like he must have loved the song because with his rap, right, he's entitled to that royalty.
Yeah.
With his rap and his contribution. And then, yes, I'm very proud to pay him an appearance fee on this song because, like you've heard it enhances this song in such a gigantic way. It's money well spent. It's a relationship well used.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful that this song is now out in the world. And you called it a banger, and I agree with you.
Here's a random question that probably no one else would ask after that story. What was Nelly drinking when you guys went for drinks?
I think I remember him drinking just vodka water.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Okay. I thought it was gonna be something real expensive for sure.
Yeah, like in the songs. Yeah, no, I think it was just vodka water.
Okay. All right.
How much has changed for you in the last, 16 months or so since COVID started hitting with your music career, just compared to how things were before? Just what has all changed? I'm sure the list is endless, but just what does kind of the last 16 months look like for you?
Oh, it's just been, I've tried very hard to stay positive because it is what it is. It's out of my control. I'm still happy. I've been spending more time with my family. There have been so many great things about it, and I choose to believe that. I'm a silver linings guy, and because of that, the time spent with my family, it's been extraordinary, and we've solidified our relationship, and I've become a better dad and a better husband. So how's it changed? For the good? Well, I mean, I just said it. I'm so happy spending more quality time with my kids and my wife. COVID gave that to me, so I'm grateful for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I got a kick in the nuts, and like my business almost folded in terms of arts and entertainment. We had a massive arena tour that was going to go across Canada in 2020. I was going to announce it on March 17th.
Wow.
And the world ended on March 12th.
That's insane.
I was 5 days from announcing my press conference that I'm hitting every arena for the first time, my first solo headline tour, at Rogers Place, Scotiabank, Toronto, Canadian Tire Center, Ottawa, like the real deal.
Were you coming Kitchener-Waterloo at all during that?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, we got to be there for that one. We got to be there for that one.
London, is going to be amazing, right? And so a year prior to that is when I booked the arena. A year prior to that is when I put a deposit on the arena.
Damn.
A year prior is when I booked all of the sound and the lights and my buses and my trucking and organized crew and everybody, right? So you're into this thing for $1 million.
Yeah.
And then it's a pandemic. You can't.
Man.
That's tough.
So it was very difficult. And I went through a state for the first few months where I didn't want to pick up a guitar. I don't want to talk to anybody.
Wow.
I don't want to do anything because I was so genuinely sad.
Yeah.
Sad for me and sad for my band and my crew, sad for their families. And I had to find my own self-worth. Take a stage out from underneath my feet and a microphone come out of my hands. What good am I?
Yeah.
But thanks to the pandemic, I also was able to start a few other businesses and try to work the entrepreneurial muscles in my brain.
Yeah.
We started a vodka company called Deuce Vodka, and it's going gangbusters right now in Alberta. We're really proud of it. And so things are going great. Like again, the universe presented its biggest challenge yet for me.
I definitely, sorry, keep going.
No, able to pull through.
I was just going to say, I definitely have questions about Deuce Vodka we're going to get to as well, but you're probably just really confused even like what you can do during that time, but you did something that not a lot of, if anybody else did. And you did drive-in shows I'm not sure how many exactly you did. Can you fill me in on that?
Yeah, we ended up doing 24 across
24.
Canada.
That's
so
insane.
It was like a legitimate tour.
Yeah.
And we were able to use a lot of the gear that we had ready for the arena tour. We just brought it outside. And it was like a mini cars. Like I had pyro, I had smoke, I had the biggest big screens money could buy, and we made it a spectacle.
Yeah.
So that way, if we were going to entertain people, we were going to entertain people to the highest level we possibly could.
Mm-hmm.
But every penny that we made, selling tickets or vehicle passes for $50 approximately, or sometimes up to $100 per vehicle, we turned around and we gave that to the food banks in those local communities.
Unreal.
So we raised over $250,000 for charity.
Unreal.
And I'm really, really grateful for that. Being able to use our music and do a lot of good.
Yeah, that's and if anybody has Crave, or if you don't have Crave, go get a free 1 month for this. There's a documentary on there, and I got to watch it. It's unreal. I actually have a few questions about that. And one, did the honking ever get annoying? Was there ever there's got to be some drunk idiots out there that would just not stop honking at not great times? Did that happen?
So I literally thought that would be the case, but because it was driving, there were no people boozing because you had to get there in your vehicle,
right.
Stay in your vehicle, and you'd only be there for like an hour, right? So, and if you had open liquor on the back of your tailgate, like there was RCMP all over the place. Right. So I thought the exact same thing. I'm like, what's going to happen if I'm singing this ballad or this really special emotional song and some idiot is like, like, people can't drink and drive, Brett. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. So I didn't experience that. Was it annoying? No, it was actually, it still gives me chills thinking about it. Pretty special.
And then one other question I have about the documentary. I get a little bit out of breath when I do any sort of running. At one point during one of your concerts, you ran off the stage during a song and ran up a ladder onto like a transport truck, it looked like, and then you started singing right away from up there. I don't know if the cameras did a good job of just like cutting that out for you or if it was right away, but I don't know how you started singing right when you got up there without just like you had to be gassed a little bit.
I was definitely gassed, but I've got such great harmony singers in my band that during on the big choruses, especially if it's like gang vocals, there are other people singing melody with me. Right. So in those moments, and knowing after the first show how out of breath I was, I looked at Maddie, my guitar player. I'm like, dude, I need you to sing with me. I need you to sing melody with me. Yeah. And you got to take a deep breath and miss like 2 words. Yeah. So he did me out. So what you were hearing, it could have been me or it could have been me with Maddie.
Unreal. Well, McDavid needs his teammates at times too. So there you go.
Yeah. So I got a hell of a team, that's for sure.
What's been the most nervous moment of your career?
This is weird. This one's coming out of left field, but I got to play in a celebrity golf tournament.
Oh,
wow.
And the first time I stepped up to the tee with like 1,000 people around.
Oh my gosh. Do you golf? Are you a golfer?
But I'm not good. Like,
Yeah.
You can go out and swing.
I'm like 90. Like I'll shoot a 90.
Okay.
Like,
okay. Yeah.
you know, I'm a bogey golfer. If I break 90, and shoot like
round.
an 87, 88, I'm freaking thrilled. One time I shot an 83. It was like I won the Stanley Cup.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
when I get a birdie, I lose my mind the way people lose their mind if they got a hole in one.
Yeah.
Because I'm always good to bogey every hole.
Yeah.
And I'm at Oilers had the McKenzie Pro Tour come, and it was an Oilers celebrity tournament in Edmonton. So Ebbs and McDavid and Nuge, like everybody was there. And because they were all there and it was open to the public, I wouldn't say 1,000, but I'd say like 600 people were around my tee box.
Oh, jeez. Oh,
And,
I'd be pounding that into the ground.
Well, it's crazy because that first hole, I started on number 7 because it was like a bit of a gamble, like an
start.
Spot.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I have such an incredible slice on my drive.
Oh yeah.
Hander. That my heart's going a million miles a minute. I'm saying the anthem for the Grey Cup, and no issue.
Yeah.
Not even a half a nerve.
Yeah.
And it was a dog leg left.
Perfect.
Where most guys have to hit like a 5-iron.
Yeah.
180, 190 yards to the dog leg.
Yeah.
And then they got to do, your 150, 180 yard. Well, my slice is so left that I just went up and I just
whacked it.
Just hit my banana.
Yeah.
And people cheered for me. I felt like Tiger Woods. So then everybody watches me to go do my second shot, right?
Yeah.
So I'm now 100 yards into the green.
Oh, that's the worst.
And I duffed it.
Yeah.
Now, luckily, my partner who's on the pro tour, he hits it up onto the onto the green.
Who was
and
your
then,
partner?
His name was it's on the McKenzie Pro Tour. I could find his name.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I could find his name, but I don't remember.
Yeah. So
great guy. He was from Texas.
It sounds like we should golf together sometimes then, because I have the exact same and Poolsy. I know our drives aren't known for ending on the fairway, but yeah, we're probably in the 90 range. Well, so we could put up a good match sometime when you're coming to Ontario. We'll do it.
But anyways, if you guys want to go golfing, it's an instant yes. I'm all about it.
All right. Next time we get a Ontario visit from you, we got to make something happen. Yeah. And then this kind of leads into my next question, because you mentioned Deuce Vodka before. Golf maybe shouldn't lead me into that question, but I'm not gonna lie. Golf and vodka, they just kind of go together a little bit. Golf and drink.
In your Gatorade bottle.
Yeah, exactly.
In a Gatorade bottle. So talk about Deuce Vodka, how it started, and another question I kind of have on that is, would whiskey ever be added to the collection? Because I've heard lots of you saying how much you love whiskey. Matt and I are both whiskey lovers as well. So I know I asked a bunch of things there. Just talk on that.
Well, yeah, happy to talk about it. I mean, I'll talk about whiskey first real quick.
Okay.
I love whiskey. I still love whiskey. It's such an incredible spirit, I love the taste. I love the culture. I love everything that it represents. But I had an opportunity to get into the vodka business, learn about the vodka business. Vodka was always my number 2, but obviously it's become my number 1. Yeah. And it's an incredible drink, obviously, as well. And whiskey, you truly have to get right. I'm not saying you don't have to get vodka right, but whiskey is about the aging, what barrels, what wood, what is your process? And there's a lot of risk involved to make a great whiskey. Whereas vodka, for our recipe and our filtration system at Deuce Vodka, we have such a system that we can truly bang out high volume of product, like a lot of product, that is elite tasting. So that is a great business model in itself. And I got into the vodka business because of my business partner, who has now become one of my best friends, Matt Doucette, who DM'd me on Instagram 2 years ago and said that he wanted to sponsor me with his company called Deuce Vodka. So I judged a book by its cover. I looked at their site. I looked at their bottles, their branding, their Facebook, their Instagram. And I did to them what Nelly said to me. I don't think you can afford me. And boy, was I wrong.
Yeah.
In the conversations with Matt about the business model, after trying the vodka, which, check this out, I tried it and met Matt for the very first time on March 12th, 2020, the day the world shut down. It was my final show. We knew that the world was shutting down, and I was with Brad Paisley as a secret guest of his in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan.
Wow.
And Matt came to the show. I invited him and his girlfriend, Kelsey, and I tried Deuce Vodka for the first time, and I couldn't believe a vodka could taste that good. Really? That smooth, no burn. I said, how do you do this?
Yeah.
And he said, well, if you become part of the team, I'll tell you. And
I love it.
Instead of him sponsoring me, I bought into the company.
No way.
And became a 50-50 partner of Deuce Vodka. And we've since launched in Alberta. We're going to launch across Canada. We so badly want to be in the LCBOs, but that is such a process, because the LCBO is the biggest liquor distributor in the world. Did you know that?
No.
Wow.
They're the biggest liquor control board on planet Earth.
Yeah. Wow. That's what I was going to ask. So we can't, as of right now, get it in Ontario.
Not yet, but we're launching our online sales, and then, and anybody can access it around the world. But we've got big plans for Ontario for next year.
Love it, because we're gonna have to try that, Poolsy. I know we can mix up the odd Caesar sometimes, so we'll have to try that, and we'll give you the scouting report.
Yeah, I can't. As a liquor store owner, or liquor brand owner, I have to be very careful what I say and how I say in terms of promoting my product.
Yeah.
So I can't say that it'll be your favorite vodka. I can't say that it'll change your life if you drink it. I also can't say that it's absolutely incredible, nor can I say that when you try Neon or flavored vodka, that you'd go through a bottle each yourself. I can't say that.
Okay. Well, we'll take that off the record. Poolsy, it sounds like we might have to drive out to Alberta before it comes to Ontario.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to host you guys.
Oh my gosh, that would be unreal. We're gonna let you go really soon here. I know I had a few just kind of random questions, and this one, I got one that came from my brother. It came out of left field. My brother's a huge fan of yours. He said, and I still don't even know how this the first thing came up with. He's like, have you ever been on stage where you just really had to piss like really bad and you had to run off the stage, or what's the most embarrassing thing that has happened on stage, if that hasn't happened?
Oh man, I could take a leak. There's so many embarrassing moments all the time, at least on a show. But I could take a leak 2 minutes before the show. Then I'm getting introduced to hit the stage, and I got to take a leak again. Those that anxiousness and excitement.
Yeah,
it always gets to me. So I've never had to go in the middle of a show where I just couldn't. It can't be just like a mind over matter kind of thing. I've been really sick on stage. In my early years, I had a couple moments where I was honestly really hungover.
Yeah.
That I needed a bucket on stage. Now in the era of COVID, I sang through so many colds and flus because the show must go on.
Mm-hmm.
Now with COVID, I mean, if you have seasonal allergies and you sneeze at a Walmart, it's like you're going in jail, right?
Yeah, you're going to jail.
But I mean, those kinds of things. So I pushed through those things. But literally the most embarrassing moment that ever happened to me was a double. And I'm sure hockey guys have all sworn on the podcast, right? This isn't
you're good. Yeah.
Because the only way this story is gonna work is if I speak vulgar. in a vulgar way, which is very off-brand for me, but a true story. I was at the Navan Fair in Ontario, somewhere close to Ottawa, and it was just a day and a night and a show where nothing was going correctly. I busted strings on my guitars, every second song, so I couldn't get a flow. The sound wasn't really working well for me. So when those things happen, I actually try to entertain and grip the stick too tight, if that makes sense. So when things aren't working on the ice, guys should try to do too many things, too many cute passes, or too many this, too much that. I literally try to do that in a musical standpoint, where now I'm just like really overdoing it in terms of entertainment.
Yeah.
Now the crowd can't tell. I think the crowd's enjoying themselves, but my band can see that I'm inside my head. I'm singing harder. I'm talking more. My stories aren't making sense because I'm just trying to make people laugh. It's just, to me, it's an absolutely brutal show.
Yeah.
So one of the big covers, or one of the big hits on Top 40 Radio at the time, was Shut Up and Dance by Walk the Moon, right? You guys have heard that song.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We did a version of it in the show, and I finally get the crowd in the palm of my hand when I drop this cover out of nowhere. Don't you dare look back. Just keep your eyes on me. And the crowd, loving it. So towards the end of the song, I get the crowd to sing. So I put my microphone out like that, and I'm standing on the speakers. So, she said, quit holding back. She said, and the crowd goes, shut up and dance with me. This woman is my destiny. And I put the mic to the crowd and I go, ooh, ooh, shut up and dance. Don't you dare. And when you go back into that big full chorus, don't you dare look back. I do this giant jump off the speaker back onto the stage to time it in time with the music. Well, I jump and I land and I roll my ankle. And I fucking biffer. And I do a tuck and roll and I yard sail and I knock my guitar player's guitars off the stand. I knock his microphone into his teeth.
Yeah.
And I yard sail and I'm just flat on my back. The band keeps playing. I'm super embarrassed. My microphone goes into this crowd full of like drunk 19-year-old party people at 11 p.m. and it goes doom, and you can hear the thud of the mic and the speakers, right? Boom, 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 boom. And it goes right into the crowd. And this big drunk hillbilly grabs the mic. And on YouTube, the big viral thing on YouTube was when guys would steal the microphones from newscasters and say, fuck her in the pussy. So this guy grabs my mic.
No way.
And he goes, fuck her in the pussy. And it's in front of 5,000 people. And now security's trying to wrestle this guy in the microphone. And the microphone's still on. And the guy's like, no, get your hands off me. Whatever. The microphone's like, give us the mic. And the song is still going. And now there's like a fight breaking out in the crowd. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I was mad. And so like the song like can't like end. Like the band is like, so what do we do? Like it's live music.
Yeah.
So I get this secondary mic brought out to me and I finished the song and I'm supposed to play for like another 20 minutes. I played one more song and I was done. I just played one more song. That's it. I went back to I remember me and the band, like I didn't talk to anybody for 2 hours. I was so mad. And usually I'm just so like happy after a show. You're just like, you're drinking, you're partying, high five, what a great time. And I didn't talk to anybody for 2 hours. I actually think I didn't trash my my dressing room, but I threw a lawn chair. And I threw a lawn chair like across the whole backstage field kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And the organizers, this is what made it worse. The organizers of the fair had their 3 kids that stayed up late to meet me after the show. And they watched me the one and only time I've ever been mad and acted like an asshole. Yeah. And I threw a chair like into the abyss.
Ugh.
And then I turn around, I'm like, hey, and the organizer's like, hey, Brett, these are my kids. I'm like, oh my God. So it's like, it was bad. So
Yeah.
I'll never do that again. I have a completely different entertainer. I've learned a lesson. So is that the most embarrassing moment of my career? Absolutely. And the most embarrassing moment of my life. Falling on stage, losing my microphone, and acting like an asshole in front of these little kids. So I've never told that story publicly. So there you go.
I love that. That's
amazing. That is crazy. Yeah, that is brutal that happened. But it also I cannot wait to watch you live sometime. But another random question that I got here: if you could sit down and have a beer with any athlete that you haven't met, who would that be?
Oh, that's a great question, Pooley.
Well, either Conor McGregor or Floyd Money Mayweather. Because these guys are not only incredible athletes, but extraordinary, even better entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So I'd like to talk to McGregor about his whiskey. I'd like to talk to Mayweather about all of his businesses. How do you turn your $50 million of revenue in a fight to $100 million overnight? How do you go from this, or how did you start your promotions company? Where all these other promotions companies were making this money and you decided, no, I'm the attraction. I should be getting the percentage. How did you do that? I don't want to talk about who he knocked out. I want to talk about his fights. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
How did you make your money? How did you build up your business?
Yeah.
So it's that's who I'd like to speak with. But if they say no, then I'll just go down the line of the great entrepreneurs. But those would be the top two.
Awesome. I think we'll kind of end on this note. So the number one thing people said to me, and this has got to be annoying for you, because this has to happen a lot. Number one thing people said to me when I said we were having you on is like, oh, you got to get him to play something. You got to get him to play something. So if you were to play for us, and you don't have to if you don't want to, you wouldn't actually be the first to play on Chump Talk. And I have to actually, if you wait on after, I'll give you his contact info. And he doesn't know I'm doing this, but Hunter Jones, he's a goaltender for Iowa. What's their team name?
Iowa Wild. Yeah,
Iowa Wild in the AHL. So he's hopefully going to be in the NHL in the next couple of years. Hunter Jones. He came on and he does so many cover songs. I guarantee he's done at least one or two of you. I should get you his contact, and you should hit him up to do something, because he's an unreal artist. But he, what was the song he sang? Poolsy. The way you, oh man, that's killing me.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite songs.
Well, and anyways. Also, boys, you gotta send me that episode. When he was on.
Yeah, I will. It's just at the end. It's I'm Yours, Jason Mraz. That's what he's saying. I'm Yours by Jason Mraz. But he's done a bunch of country songs. So if you would want to give us a tiny little send off, you can. If you don't want to and you decline, that's totally okay. It's up to you. Either way, this has been an amazing episode.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun. And the reason why I'm not gonna play a song at the end, and no disrespect, is that because on all of these Zoom calls over the course of the pandemic and stuff like that, 99% of the time, it doesn't really work. Yeah. It doesn't sound good. Fair enough. You know what? I think to myself, if Hunter is the guy who's played it, then let Hunter be the star of the podcast. The guy who's played on it. But I'll do a rain check, or kind of somewhat of a, I'll flip the tables on you guys, and I'll say, what's better than hearing me suffer through a song on a Zoom call is come to Ontario again. I'm inviting you both to not just see the show, but we'll drink some of my vodka backstage. Or earlier in the day, let's go for a round of golf.
Oh my gosh! Yep, we'll take that rain check any day.
Any day.
There you go.
That is amazing. All right. Well, this has been incredible. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna send you that episode with Hunter.
I can find him on Instagram.
Yeah, we will do that. But thank you so much. This has been a blast, and we will talk again.
You betcha.